Hi there, my name is Kelly. I'm a wellness coach at the Functional Medicine Center, and today I just wanted to share a little bit about how we can tap into joy. So, for most of us, joy is a super difficult emotion to feel. Maybe we're a little bit out of practice. Maybe when we feel joy, we have some foreboding come up, some worry or some stress or some anxiety that acts like a wall or a block to really experience that joy and bring it into ourselves. So, and also we know that the negativity bias has some effect here. So we tend to remember and really bring into our body threats and dangers and things that are negative because at some time it served us to protect us, and um, now it just means that it's easier to remember the negative than the positive. And so we have to practice. We have to put effort into it. We have to make it an intention to recognize what brings us joy and then feel it and remember it and bring it into our life. So, how do we do that? Um, Lots of ways to do that, lots of free, easy ways to do that. So, number one, the research tells us that vulnerability and gratitude are the pathways to joy. That it's nearly impossible to be a joyous person and have a joyful life without a practice of gratitude or the ability and willingness to lean into vulnerability. Biggest researcher here is Brene Brown, but she's not the only one. But if you put in gratitude, joy, and vulnerability into YouTube or Google, you will come up with a plethora of articles, plethora of videos. There's tons of research on the connection of the three and how they're interwoven. So, um, so one of the main things you can do is to notice what you appreciate and say it out loud. Express your gratitude, your appreciation. Make a gratitude journal or just list to yourselves, or maybe you have a jar with your family and you put things into the jar, and then maybe once a week or something you pull out the jar and look at it, or maybe before meals you say something that you're grateful for. um, there are lots of ways that you can sort of lean into what do I appreciate, and sometimes that's difficult and tricky. So then what do we do then when gratitude maybe isn't the avenue for us to feel joy because we don't so much connect with this idea of gratitude? So there are other things you can do. There's biofeedback. And so this is essentially what you can do physically that sends signals to the mind, the brain, that you're safe and you can enjoy yourself and you can feel more joy. So some pretty obvious ones: smiling and laughing. They boost the immune system. They allow you to feel more joy. There's something that you do when you're playing, smiling and laughing, and play and lightheartedness also allow us to feel more joy. Um, there is a pioneer play researcher, and he says that his name is Brian Smith Sutton, and he says that the opposite of play is not work. The opposite of play is depression. So playfulness, being silly, just being able to express yourself freely, like dancing like no one's watching, that kind of idea. Being playful, being silly, being lighthearted, whatever that means to you. Listening to comedies, watching comedies, whatever helps you laugh. Um, and then let's see some other things, leaning into self-care. So recognizing what you need and then giving yourself enough respect and compassion to provide that to yourself, to nurture and nourish yourself, not just physically, but emotionally and mentally and spiritually as well, whatever that means to you. Okay, so biofeedback. So things we can do other than smiling and laughing. So when we're in a stress response, what we do is we tend to hyper focus on something straight ahead, right? And so when we're working and we're staring at a computer screen, we're probably in a stress response. So things we can do to drop that stress response, because that's one of the prerequisites for feeling joy, is being able to sort of drop out of the stress and drop out of the busy and just rest and relax, have some quiet time. So one of the things that we can do to tell our body that it's time for that, that we're not stressed and we can enjoy ourselves and we can go, is to look up and around and appreciate our surroundings. So that's sort of the opposite of like the laser focus stress response, is just appreciating birds, clouds, the way the trees sway in the wind. Looking up and around, even if you're in a room and there's not necessarily anything to appreciate or anything beautiful in the room, but just looking up and around at your surroundings, lifting the eyes up and around sends signals to our body that we're safe and we can start to enjoy ourselves. Um, Havening, so self-touch, caressing the cheeks, the forehead, hugging yourself, touching your upper arms. These are all things we can do to comfort ourselves, to let ourselves know that we're safe and we can start to enjoy ourselves. And then lastly, other than the gratitude, the intention. So the intention is huge. So this means, what can I say to myself and what can I surround myself with that represents joy to me? So it could be as simple as an affirmation. I am joy. I experience joy daily. I bring joy into my life. So affirmations are really important, but also music or images or other sounds that symbolize joy to you, and surrounding yourself with that or bringing it into your space somehow is another great way. Okay, and then lastly, there is a breath technique that I love, and it's actually called the breath of joy. And so I'm going to back up here. Whee! Yeah. Okay, so here's how it goes. So we take 3 breaths in and then we exhale all the way and come forward. So we're breathing in through the nose. It's also something that helps us rest and relax and drop into that experience where we can bring the joy in, where we can experience and absorb it. Okay, so what we're going to do for the breath of joy is 3 inhales in. So arms are going to come up to shoulder, out to the side at shoulder, and then all the way up, and then we're going to drop. It looks like this. One more time to the side. Maybe at the end, you slowly roll up. Maybe you do a little dancing, maybe you get silly, but the breath of joy is a great way to move and to breathe, to bring more aliveness and energy and joy into the body. Okay, I hope that was helpful. If you'd like to talk about it more, please feel free to reach out and we'd be happy to chat about how we can bring more joy into your life. Take good care. Thank you.